there's so much going on right now that it's the Rock Solid MUZKAST experience, but there's so much going on right now that I just said we got to do like one topic show just to kind of, I don't know,
cleanse the palate.
I guess I got stuff to say, man.
Yes.
I'm one PO'd American.
I think there's a lot of them, Dave.
Yeah,
I'm
not
Twitter,
alone.
Twitter lately.
I've been on Twitter all morning, man. It ain't good for those guys out there.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a bit, but starting out, dude, I want to show you this. I saw this coming up this week on the radio. I heard this, and it's so unhinged. It's not even, well, no, it is totally funny. This is up in Canada. A guy named Mark Holland. He's the, I don't know, Minister of Health or something like that out there. You know, they have all kinds of goofy.
Minister of Craziness.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm sure that other countries look at our politicians and they go, they got all the kinds of goofy things out there. They don't really.
And we do. We just had an embarrassing event in Congress.
Yeah. So anyhow, so I heard this and I went, that's fantastic. I gotta play this. So check this out, Aaron. If it'll play.
Many Canadians just simply look forward to a small summer vacation, a road trip perhaps. It's normally a time where they can go and camp in the mountains or go to a national park or visit loved ones. But this year, many Canadians can't afford this simple delight because this government has made life too expensive. On Monday, this House will have the opportunity to vote on a common sense motion to save Canadians 35 cents per litre on gas. Will the Prime Minister vote with us, the common sense Conservatives, so that Canadians can afford a simple vacation, or will he force them to stay home?
The Honourable Minister of Health. Mr. Speaker, good news, kids. You can take a summer fun time vacation where you're locked in a car for 10 consecutive days, nonstop with no bathroom breaks. And the Conservatives have a plan for you to have that summertime fun. And the cost? Give up the future of the planet. Right? Don't worry, kids, about climate change. Don't worry about taking action on the planet. Enjoy your 10 hours in the car and let the planet burn.
Let it burn.
Oh, man.
Clark Griswold's in the corner going, what? What did I do?
Yes.
I mean, come on. And then, right after that, he
the best part of that, though, is the bow tie.
Yeah.
Well, the red bow tie, it matches his face.
I'm starting to learn with the liberal crowd, if they're wearing a bow tie, they are the craziest of the liberal crowds. Now, there's also the pink hair, the blue hair, the people with all the metal in their face. They're crazy on a different level. These people are dangerous crazy because people take them seriously because they're wearing a bow tie. And after he was done with his unhinged rant, he packed up his stuff, jumped on his private jet to head home so he could pack up his kids and take them on a 14-hour jet plane trip to Europe.
Oh,
and the place to the ground.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? I feel confident in my mockery of these people that subscribe to this climate change garbage. And I'll state my stance once again for any people that aren't too bright out there, which is, of course, there's climate change. Of course there is. This world is very old and it's been through a lot of cycles. There was a moment that it was covered in water, and then there was a moment it was covered in ice, and all this, by the way, before we started drilling for oil or driving cars or burning coal. Okay, the world goes through cycles. 1,600 climate scientists sent an open letter to Governor Gavin Newsom, essentially telling him, stop lying to the people about climate change. It isn't the existential threat that you keep saying it is. That is 1,600 climate scientists.
I think we have to be good stewards, which we are.
Except for those pro-Hamas Nazi sympathizer protesters. Have you seen the garbage they leave behind? Anyways, go ahead.
Well, my first thought is, as soon as China, India hop on board with the climate change, I'm all for it.
And
But-
Iran.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah.
But they're not.
I have a
And
friend.
so-
I have a friend that he explains it better than anybody else, I think, can explain it. Which is, imagine all the countries are just kids in a pool. You know, each kid represents a country, and in one corner of the pool, you have the Western countries that are subscribing to this climate change and doing what they can. I'm not saying that we're not doing. We are doing way above we're pulling more than our share. Okay, is what I'm getting at. So he goes, imagine that Britain or Europe and America, these two kids are standing in one corner of the pool and they're not peeing in the pool. But in the other corner of the pool, you have India, Iran, China, the Congo, you name it, standing in the other corner of the pool, peeing in the pool. Did you and Europe not pee in the pool? Did that help anything? Or are you still standing in a pool full of piss? Excuse my language, but I had to emphasize in a way that the word pee wouldn't emphasize it. Sorry, there's a broadcaster in me. Yeah, so anyways, I just had to play this unhinged rant because I want to shed a light on how unhinged these people are.
You don't think it's an act? Sometimes. Yeah.
But did you see, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but did you see Nancy Pelosi debate? This is funny, by the way. I forget his name, but he's his numbers are going up because of this debate. He's the banjo player for Mumford and Sons. So even he said it on his channel. I'm a nobody. He was the banjo player for Mumford and Sons. Anyways, they had a debate at Oxford about globalism versus populism between Nancy Pelosi and the banjo player for Mumford and Sons. I don't know how you get that pairing, but there it is. So, anyways, Nancy got up there and I mean, watch the thing. The whole thing's out there. Just Google Nancy Pelosi Oxford debate. There's the videos if you want to go see them. Anyways, she goes on about talking about how populism is a threat to democracy because, well, people will have too many rights that way. It's essentially what she's saying, though. But she does it in her Nancy Pelosi way that makes you think that, you know, what she's saying is correct. And then he gets up and dismantles her with facts and news stories and sources, none of which she brought, by the way. And
No, you have to believe her because she's Nancy.
well, and you know, he did a follow-up video on his channel that I watched, and he said, I wanted to expose you know, the stuff you didn't get to see on camera and maybe some of the stuff you couldn't hear. And it's like one of the things that got a huge laugh was he condemned what happened on January 6th. Let's get that out of the way, right? And then he went on to say, you guys are guilty of the same thing. Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, we did not deny the 26. Oh, she goes, the elections were hijacked. And he goes, there you go. And the entire room is laughing at her. And she goes, it's not the same thing. We didn't deny the election, but it was hijacked. What do you call that? I call it semantics is what I call it, but whatever, who cares? But the other thing that he said about her was that, you couldn't see. So I'm taking him at his words. You couldn't see or hear this in the video, But as he was dismantling her, she said two things to him. The first thing she said to him is, "Why are you doing this to me?" And the second thing she said was, "And who are you?" And I read it the same way he read it, which was the question was not, "Who are you?" The question was, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
That's what she meant by that. He destroyed her. Not that anyone's going to care, because no one's mind was changed by it.
Yeah.
These people, they refuse to face facts when slapped in the face with them. What are you going to do?
Well, this week I was sent a wonderful story. A young man that I know, and Dave, went into the Coast Guard, and I was, I had known someone in the Coast Guard, and he flew one of those rescue planes. So I thought, you watch the movies and that Guardian movie with Ashton Kutcher. So I thought the Coast Guard just basically rescues people that are endangered out on sea. But I was wrong.
You were wrong.
Yes. So we'll put a link to the story from the San Diego News that they caught over $500 million worth of cocaine coming, towards the U.S.
That's a lot of coke.
Yeah. In fact, the story says why they were on, because they boarded this ship in January, and they just will arrive this weekend, January 2nd, I think, tomorrow.
Where are they docking at?
And Alameda.
Do you think Hunter's going to be there?
Come to mama. Come to papa.
I'm here for the love boat.
Yes. Yeah.
Where's the hookers and blow?
So I thought it was a wonderful story that the ship he was on got these legal drugs.
Illegal drugs, you mean?
Illegal drugs. Did I say legal?
Yeah, it sounded like you said
okay.
illegal.
Illegal drugs before they hit the street and harmed.
That's a lot. They were going on in the video about it was so much that they weren't sure if they were going to have room to store it all.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna have to use some of this, I think. Or you just dump it over. You get some fish doing some weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, those fish in the San Francisco Bay, man, they're already weird as it is. And do you think I'm joking? As well as I do, there's signs posted all over Fisherman's Wharf about warning you about what to catch out there, because there's mercury and garbage and sewage and all kinds of stuff in that bay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but Dave Barron will be home in Sacramento, where he was born and raised, in another week, and I hope to see him and congratulate him, because that's a good job.
Yeah.
He's one of
and he's been at that for a couple of years.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
So
in
good
fact,
for him.
yes. In fact, he told me conversation we had the other day that he's going to re-up. He's loving it and had a good time. I don't think he likes being away from shore
4 months
for 4 months.
4 months at a time.
Yeah, but they had some fun time. He told me they rented some quad runners where they were. They went on the dunes. I forget where they were, but they went on some dunes and had some fun. So it was not a total working trip. They got to have some fun too.
Well, that's good. That woman that they were interviewed, and she said, "We've been out for 4 months." You could tell she didn't want to be out for 4 months.
Not with the bunch of guys.
She was ready to go home.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her one bit. So good for her.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for all of them, really. That's awesome, because, and by the way, that story mentioned that they had a new drug that they found that they had never confiscated before. Scary enough as it is, because I mean, fentanyl's already killing us. All you got to do is drive down the street and you see these people everywhere.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'll ask him about that. I mean, they mentioned the drug. I can't remember the name, But again, something that was going to come towards the borders of the U.S.
Yeah.
So good job, Coast Guard.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, good job, Coast
Well,
Guard.
and speaking of maybe arresting people, our George Soros.
Oh yeah.
know, you
So
know, we
yeah, no.
we
Here, let me set this one up.
okay, go
George
ahead.
Soros. I'm scrolling through X this morning. I'm still fired up about what happened on May 30th. And I was sending out some tweets. I know these politicians don't read the tweets. I know it. But I did send out, tweets tagging Chip Roy, Senator Ted Cruz, and Jim Jordan. 3 guys that I have firmly supported because I think they're straight up guys. But time for talk is done, man. Been watching you talk for close to 4 years now, and nothing has happened. Not a single thing.
Well, they
Nobody's been. Hey, let me run down.
go ahead.
Let
Yeah.
me just run down some lists. Nobody's been punished for censoring us and censoring social media. That was one of the things they talked about. Nobody's been punished for COVID. Nobody's been punished for what's the other one I was just about to say? Oh, the Hunter Biden garbage. Nothing ever happens, and people are tired of it. I'm really tired of it because I watch all those things, and now I'm just convinced that these guys are putting on a grand show. They're all talk, no walk. And in my opinion, this is pretty much what I tweeted to them, which is time for talk is done. Either you start doing something or you need to be voted out too. I am on a campaign of vote out anybody, Republican or Democrat, that isn't taking some action right now. Vote them all out. Maybe we need an all new crew in there. And you know what? I'll take my chances with an all new crew. It's got to be better than the garbage that's going on right now, right? Am I right?
Yeah, you are. It just takes more than one.
I get it.
I
get it. But those are 3 powerful men.
Yeah, yes, Chip is rather new to Congress. What I mean by rather new is I think he's on his 2nd term, could be starting his 3rd.
People listen to Chip Roy.
They do listen to him, and he is very vocal about what's happened. But I believe Chip is doing all he can to action.
Well,
but here's my thing is put everything to a vote. If it won't, I hate this. We don't have enough votes. We're not going to vote. No, make everybody vote.
Yeah, put them on the record at least.
We know where you stand.
I mean, at least I know who was sending money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm going to get on a tangent. Let me get back to this Soros thing. So anyways, this ran across my feed this morning. Alex Soros, he's the son of George Soros. He posted a link to a New York Times article, how Trump's conviction could cost him the election. The way things are going right now, I would say no, but we still got like 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Or 5 months. So this is what Soros posted. Democrats should refer to Trump as a convicted felon at every opportunity. Repetition is the key to a successful message, and we want people to wrestle with the notion of hiring a convicted felon for the most important job in the country. Now, number one, Soros said the quiet part out loud. He gave away the game plan. Repetition is key. All this divisiveness, all this crazy crap that's going on, repetition is key. How many times have you heard Trump's a racist? Can you count it?
At work, it's so since white supremacy, love Trump, now he's racist because of that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how do those things match up?
But Joe Biden holding up Robert Byrd's hand, Grand Wizard of the KKK.
That didn't happen, Dave.
Yeah, that didn't happen. There's a number of pictures of it.
Yeah.
Dan Bongino said he was actually there when Biden was eulogizing the guy, but that didn't happen.
That's
That's
what some people believe.
And and all that says to me is maybe we really are living in a simulation.
Well, it just he's just being nice to an old guy.
Yeah.
That's just
nice old guy. All right, whatever. So
they had a lot of power that helped Joe Biden become powerful in the Senate. That's exactly what that was.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Joe Biden called this Grand Wizard of the KKK a mentor and friend. So if that's not good enough for you to call him a racist, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Supposedly, I'm a racist for supporting Trump. So wouldn't that make you racist for
being over here today doing the show?
Wouldn't that make you a racist for supporting Biden, who is called a grand wizard, friend and mentor?
Yeah.
I mean, let's look up the definition of mentor. What does a mentor do?
Yeah.
He teaches you.
Yeah.
Teaches you how to be a racist, Joe.
I'm starting to believe that Biden just uses people for every step.
You're talking about the Democrat Party.
Yeah, but I mean, even him personally. Soon as you are no longer, because I don't believe he liked Obama at all. It's all an act now.
Yeah. The curtain has been pulled down.
Yeah.
And anyways, let me get back to this.
George Soros.
So conveniently enough, I scroll on a little further from Alex Soros' post there. And I come across a CBS News article from 2002. Call it an algorithm or call it dumb luck. I don't care. But there it was. And
so you found a treasure today.
A little nugget. And by the way, let me say up front, since I'm tagging the Soros family in my post, I'm not suicidal. Just know that. Anyways, this is from CBS News. Billionaire Soros guilty of insider trading. A French court convicted American billionaire investor George Soros of insider trading and fined him $2.2 million Friday. Insider trading, being convicted of insider trading, isn't that? I mean, I don't know what it is in France, but I know here it's a felony, isn't it? I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So my response to Mr. Soros there was everyone should refer to Soros as a convicted felon at every opportunity. Repetition is the key to a successful message, and we want people to wrestle with the notion of hiring those funded by a convicted felon for the most important job in the country. Repetition is key. Remember it. It's key.
Yeah.
So don't stop.
If you say it enough, people will actually start to believe it.
Yeah, don't stop.
Yeah,
Joe Biden.
We are sheep.
But here's the thing: is the repetition that I spew out, I can back up with facts. So I stop short of calling him the P word, but it is a fact that Joe Biden took showers with a 10-year-old girl that was his daughter.
Yeah.
She documented it in her diary, called it inappropriate, and then confirmed it with the court. She's on the record confirming that diary is true.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So, hey, I'm actually glad we can now prosecute presidents. Let's put Joe in there for sex crimes against children. Let's just put him on trial. I'm not saying he's guilty. Let's at least put him on trial, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you wrote...
he'll get a fair day in court.
Oh, yeah, of course. Let's put him on trial in Florida. He'll get his fair shake in Florida.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at, I know...
Not in Miami.
I know I'm exaggerating a bit here. I'm exaggerating to prove a point, but I will prove this point. If you had a daughter... and the government found a diary where she had written those same words about you, whether it was true or not, would you be under investigation?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely you would. Absolutely you would. So don't tell me no one's above the law. If your name's Biden, you're above the law. And that's a fact. And I've got facts to back it up.
Well, I don't think anybody's above the law. I mean, you're going to have your day in court. We saw Bill Clinton.
Well, he's another one that needs to be locked up.
Yeah.
You know, I've been going down the list of
again,
people that should be locked up.
I'm sort of happy we just don't send our presidents to jail. You know,
Well,
again, I'm not going to get there.
Okay.
But again, would I take away the right for because when a former president dies, he gets a state funeral. Would I take the state funeral away? Yeah. Would I dishonor him in some kind of way that he did this? Yes. I'm just not going to handcuff him and walk him inside a prison cell.
Well, I highly doubt that's going to happen. I honestly doubted that we would do this, but here we are. So I highly doubt that, but who knows? I mean, did you see the grin on Biden's face? I mean, here's a picture of it. I'm not showing everybody, but there's the picture of his grin.
Oh, I understand.
It's personal for him.
Are you sure he just didn't have some ice cream and he had a grin with ice cream?
Somebody in the crowd was like, come on backstage. We got ice cream. Ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Fire truck. Aaron gets that joke.
Yes. Again, because I think half the stuff he can't remember.
I don't even think, well, my post about that was, I can't wait to lock him up and we can throw him in jail. Just tell him it's the Lincoln bedroom and he'll never know the difference.
That's true.
You mean I get to stay here for life?
Yeah.
Yep, buddy. The rest of your days, you get to be locked up in prison. Here's a I'm looking for the actual tweet.
I mean, Biden said, what today meant is no one's above the law. But let's just go right to it. In the city or the county of Manhattan, Trump only got 12% of the vote. So they could have had no witnesses come to testify that he did whatever they were charging him to do. And he would have probably got convicted guilty. They would have probably convicted him or whatever charge they wanted.
The whole thing is
what's a sham?
It's so convoluted, nobody can follow it.
No, but again, here's what my prediction is will happen. I think the Supreme Court will eventually take it up and they will hammer the judge for not moving the trial.
Well, the
one thing
I don't even have faith in the courts anymore. But
I understand. But I think the Supreme Court will take it up and go, you should have moved this trial. And they will throw out the conviction. They won't even let them have another trial. They will throw it out. They will overturn the conviction and it will be done with.
Well, I hate to, and I'm not going to give him the win just yet, but I hate to give Patrick Rivers the win on this one. But as Biden walks us into World War III, Patrick might not be wrong that we'll be under martial law, and Biden announces that there's not a 24 election.
I learned a lot during COVID about the laws, and and then the last election I learned a lot about how elections are done and how states control the elections for the most part. It will be interesting what the rules are, how long a president without the approval of Congress, because he won't get it, could hold us under martial law. A president for a certain time can wage war against another country, but after 60 days, I think, or 90 days, he needs the approval of Congress. Now, again, this administration has done a lot of stuff without Congress approval. But I think when you're talking about martial law and things of that nature, Congress will jump in and go, you can't do that. We will stop you.
Yeah, I'm looking for this tweet because it kind of shows how scared I think it's hitting them in the face that they poked a bear that they maybe shouldn't have. And they're going, whoa, 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 this didn't go as expected. And so I'm looking for this tweet because I found someone else's not even retweet of it. And it's Rep Dean Phillips from Minnesota, I believe. Minnesota. Where he tweeted to Kathy Hochul that she should be pardoning Trump because it's only energizing his base. And Trump raised so far like $53 million from small donors.
And some I heard like 20% are donors that never donated to him before.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Well,
how that
the site within 2 minutes of the verdicts being read, the donation site crashed. Within 2 minutes, they got it back up. It crashed again. And within 12 hours, Trump said it was like $34 million, not from huge donors, small donors.
Yeah.
You and me.
Yeah. And my thing is, they've made him an underdog now. They made him a sympathetic figure.
Well,
you're talking about a billionaire that now you have made a sympathetic figure, underdog. Everybody loves the underdog story. That's why people watch the NCAA basketball tournament, because you have those, small schools, they beat a big school, and everybody loves that story. Now, Trump is not small. He's a billionaire, been very successful. But you have made him a sympathetic figure. And that has energized not only his base, but the American people.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have prosecuted someone wrongfully, it charges up.
Yeah.
The Americans.
There's a couple of different ways to put it here. And I'm going to give you a couple of different ways. I explained it to Shane last night. It's like I'm watching the Happy Gilmore movie. That's what we're watching right now is Happy Gilmore. Joe Biden is Shooter McGavin. There's nothing to like about him. There's nothing redeemable about him. And he's phony as the day is long. And here you got a Happy Gilmore, Donald Trump. He'd never been president before, never been in politics, nothing like that. But hey, you know what? I need to do something to fix something. So I'll take a shot at it. And he starts to succeed. And bullies don't like to see people succeed. So what does Shooter Joe Biden McGavin do? He hires that guy to drive him over with the car. That's what's going on right now. Now, in that movie, who'd you like the best, Shooter or Happy? Who were you rooting for?
Happy.
It's an underdog story. And that's what we're watching in real life right now. Is every 80s nerd movie underdog story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's true. Another way to put it that I put it out to somebody was, you know what? We walked away from the bullies and turned our back for too long. And now we're tired of being bullied. And you see people starting to step up. And I don't mean violently. Everything I say, I mean peacefully. We're gonna find out on November 5th where people stand. We're gonna find out. Do they want more of the same, or do they actually want hope and change?
Yes. Someone quoted, I was looking for it, of how much things have gone up.
Oh yeah.
Since,
well, let me get back to this real quick. Let me finish this one.
The pocketbook goes.
Yeah, let me finish this one. So, Rep. Dean Phillips, Democrat, Minnesota, urges New York Governor Hochul to pardon Donald Trump after the historic felony conviction, stating it's for the good of the country. Phillips argues that the conviction is energizing Trump's base and generating significant campaign contributions.
But it's not only the base, it's the American people.
Oh,
Trump cannot win with just his base.
Dude, I got video after video after video of people going, I never liked Trump, but I got to vote for him now.
Yeah, this is wrong.
It's just wrong. And people don't like to see people wronged, especially by the government.
Would you hope that the Supreme Court wouldn't step in before November and just let the appeal process work itself out?
No.
And still make him a sympathetic figure? Or you think no matter what, if the Supreme Court came in and said, overthrew the conviction and all that, and Trump was free to go and no more trouble in New York, do you think he would lose that sympathetic figure that he is now?
That is one of the things I said today, which is we got 5 months between now and November. People are going to start to heal from this. It's the best way I can describe it, as heal. You know, I don't want to say forget. They're not going to forget. They're not going to forget this happened, but they're not going to be as angry by November about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, this is a true threat to democracy. It really is, because as much as I want, that's fine. Let's take the gloves off. Now we get to prosecute all of them. As much as I want that to be true, I equally don't want it to be true, because as I explained it to Shane, it's now become a gang war. That's all it is.
It's get Trump.
It's get Trump
at all costs.
It's get Trump at all costs. But if Trump gets into office, it's going to be get the Democrats at all costs. And then when the Democrats get back in control, it's going to be get those Republicans at all costs. And it never ends. It's a gang war. It's what it is.
Yeah, I have refereed high school sports and events, and someone will start something, and then someone does something. Well, he did it first, and I go, does it make it right for you to do something? And then then that person does something. Guess what happens? The other team, they do something.
Yeah,
and then it's just back and forth. And I'm like, I'll be sitting there with high schoolers. I'm like, did I just walk into a kindergarten classroom?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's
and by the way,
we talked about the last show about two grown women in Congress almost catfighting.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
and it wasn't two; it was three.
Yeah,
and you know who skated on that whole video, because you don't see this part of the video. I actually saw the whole video. You know who the instigator was in that? You know who lit that fire?
Who was?
Jamie Raskin.
Okay.
Because he was up there setting it all up. Trump this, MAGA that. I mean, that dude has TDS to the point that he really needs to see a professional about it, because either he's a liar or he's ignorant. I go for liar. That dude knows exactly what he's doing. And he fired up those women that day. He knew what he was doing in firing them up. He just didn't realize that it was going to get that out of control.
Yeah, it got bad. So, last story for today. This is something I wanted to bring up. We just had the great basketball player Bill Walton pass away. I know you're not a huge sports fan, but Bill was a great guy. He played for John Wooden at UCLA, won, I think, 3 consecutive championships. Probably a greater college basketball player than pro. He dealt with some injuries when he was professional. But Bill had his, strange way. He was a Grateful Dead fan, his strange way of thinking about things. Grew up in Oregon. But he desired to play for the best, which was John Wooden. And John Wooden was, Christian, conservative. But Bill and John stayed friends for a lifetime. Even though they disagreed about all these things, they loved life, they loved basketball, and they got together for the common good of the game of basketball. And I think that should teach us all a lesson that no matter how much I disagree with you, whatever, we're all Americans, and we need to come together. And maybe I don't get all the things that I want to see, and they don't get all seen, but we make a healthy compromise. Now, again, I'm not going to agree to that in all areas, but there are some areas, we talk about, this election coming up, and when Trump was president, prices were lower. We didn't get any wars. And it wasn't until I think around COVID hit that this nation just went on fire. We were kind of getting along and getting some stuff done because Trump had the art of the deal. He could get the deal done. And was I totally satisfied with everything he did? No. But we were moving together, as one to some degree.
I did say this.
Okay.
I have said this in the last couple of days. Excuse me. Biden said he ran on the fact that he was going to unite the country again. And I think he's finally been successful. We are very united against Joe Biden being president for a second term.
That's true.
We're very united in that.
Because I think if you ask the Democrats privately,
they're scared, dude.
Yeah,
they are. That tweet that I read to you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
go ahead.
stomp on your story.
Yeah.
But that tweet that I read to you is the quiet part out loud again. They're scared. He's blowing the whistle. He's like, stop this train. I want to get off.
It's too late, fella.
No,
it's too late.
You picked sides, and I'm sorry, bro. You picked the wrong side on that one.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap this up, Bill Walton, you will always remember to me as someone who just loved the game of basketball. It loved life. Personally, I just retired from 34 years at UPS, and I'm someone. A lot of people say, "I hope you enjoy your retirement." I'm like, yes, I am, because I just love life. I love people. And again, that's what Bill Walton did. He loved the game of basketball. He loved life. Me and Bill probably didn't agree on anything politically, but that's okay, because there were things that we agreed on, and we loved the game of basketball and loved sport. And that's what Bill did. And I'm sad to see you pass of cancer. And, my prayers go out to his family as they remember him.
Well, I'm going to take a couple more minutes here.
Okay.
I got a lot of, I don't even want to say emotion. I'm not even emotional about it. Just really disappointed that we as a people let a handful of elites do what they did this week. We allowed it. We voted for him. Maybe I didn't vote for him. Maybe you didn't. But collectively, they were the winners, right?
Well, that was the problem with this. It was just Manhattan. They elected Bragg,
I'm talking about the. I don't even like using the word because it makes you sound like a conspiracy theorist. But the cabal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The group, the Schumers and the and the Pelosi's and the Raskins, and you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah, okay.
And you know, I heard somebody describe it this week, and I went, that really makes sense. It's not I think it was Garagos that said it. It's not necessarily a conspiracy theory to get Trump. It's just a large group of people with a common goal. They're not necessarily conspiring together to do this. It's just a large group of people with a common goal, and they're all taking their shots. And, you know, if you care about your country, you won't allow this to happen. You just won't. And I want to quantify this by saying, I've had to tell a lot of people it's not about Trump. It's not about the man. It really isn't. It's about that office and what it represents. And you've done a lot of damage, damage. And I'm seeing these people cheering on Twitter and even on Truth about, you know, oh, he's a convicted felon. Are you an idiot? Seriously. Are you that hung up on a guy you've never spoken to that you're willing to sacrifice your own country to put him in jail?
Yeah.
Really? You're that hung up on Trump. All you had to do was, when he got in office, Joe, forget about Trump. But he couldn't. That's what he ran on. That's what Alvin Bragg ran on. That's what Fani Willis ran on, was Trump. That's what Gavin Newsom ran on in his last election.
And I don't think they realize that, you know, I voted for Trump. You voted for Trump. You're coming after me too, because I voted for the guy.
Yeah.
That's who I voted for.
Right.
Have I been totally happy? No, but that's who I voted for. And now you're saying that, you know, I was wrong in doing that.
Have I criticized Trump more than once? Absolutely. You've heard, I've done it on this podcast. Criticized him a lot.
And if, you know, if we weren't in these wars, if gas was still around 2.46 a gallon, groceries were, affordable. Somewhat affordable, you wouldn't be criticizing Biden.
Nope.
You'd have been like that. Let that senile guy go 4 more years.
Yeah, because
it's working.
Exactly. Because you know what I always say, greatest presidents in my lifetime have been Reagan, Clinton, and Trump. You know why? Because we had great economies under them. I didn't worry about money. I didn't worry about money. I worried about money with both of the Bushes. Who else was in there? Obama, of course.
Yeah.
And now this is where I do give Obama a little bit of a pass, because, you know, we were coming out of that whole recession and he had a lot of work to do to try to get the economy started again. I give him a little bit of a pass there, but you know what? That dude had 8 years and he still didn't make it. Still didn't get it fixed. 8 years. I mean, if you were working at a job, Aaron, for 8 years, and he said, man, hey, Aaron, you know, that package is still in the corner from 7 years ago, bro. When do you think you might get around to it? And you go, well, it's pretty heavy. And the last guy who had my job, you know, he stacked more stuff on top of it. So, you know, it's just going to be a lot of work.
It's really not my fault. It's that guy's fault.
It's not my fault.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll get around to it. Just make sure you give me my job for another year. And I promise you I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And that's the problem, is nobody's looking at these politicians as their employees. I look at the politicians as employees. I hired them. I pay them.
They represent us.
Yeah. I hired them. I pay them.
Yeah.
You work for me. And that is something that I would have said to Joe Biden that day he told that blue collar union guy, I don't work for you. I would have go, yes, you do. And I'm going to make sure that you don't work for me.
Well, hopefully in November we fire him.
Fire Joe Biden.
Yes.
and fire any Republican that isn't doing something, and fire all of those Democrats. Fire them all. Okay. I hate to say this, man, I hate to say this. The only two people that I've seen on X that are politicians that are going hardcore on we need to do something, Lauren Boebert, and who else? Tell me who else, Aaron.
Mayor Taylor Greene.
Taylor Greene.
Miss Catfight.
Yeah. It's so embarrassing.
Hey, we got to get out of here.
Yeah. All right.
Happy trails, everybody.
Happy trails.